Triple H recently responded to Seth Rollins, so we'll see what he had to say about the Summerslam cancellation. We'll also take a look at what Alexa Bliss is saying about characters' lack of direction, and much more. Let's start things off with the recent update to Seth Rollins' Summerslam situation. So, just until the MSG edition of Raw, Seth Rollins and Riddle were supposed to collide at SummerSlam. But after that slight cliffhanger ending to Raw, fans wondered if Riddle would be storyline cleared to compete, and the answer turned out to be no. For whatever reason, they decided that Seth Rollins vs. Riddle wasn't needed for SummerSlam and would be moved to Clash at the Castle. We previously talked about how Seth Rollins voiced his opinion about how sad he was to be left out of SummerSlam. He said he's been doing everything he could over the last few months to make sure he had a spot on the card, but that some things are just out of his control. That was a genuine tweet from Seth Rollins that did go viral and put up some big numbers. But what happened right after was a bit unexpected. The new head of WWE Creative Options, Triple H, quoted Seth Rollins' tweet and said that he hears him. Triple H's response to Seth Rollins generated even more hype and buzz, because everyone wants to know what Triple H will do to fix this issue with Seth Rollins. Riddle vs. Rollins is rumored to now be happening at Clash at the Castle. But if Riddle is written off of television for the next few weeks with a storyline injury, then what will Seth Rollins do until Riddle is back? Fans have been buzzing with all their insane theories for how Triple H can fix this issue with Seth Rollins. The easiest assumption would be something we previously talked about, and that's another mystery opponent for Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, or maybe even the weeks after SummerSlam. Although everyone knew it would be Cody Rhodes that returned for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38, there was still so much buzz and hype around that mystery opponent element. So if they do it again, chances are that hype surrounding that mystery opponent will still be there. Now, hypothetically speaking, if there was another Seth Rollins mystery opponent match, fans are really throwing around two big names that they would like to see take on Seth Rollins. The first one being Johnny Gargano. Gargano left WWE a while back for the birth of his first child and hasn't been back in the ring ever since. He did say several times that he was waiting for his daughter to get a bit older before he considers a return to the ring, but he's still a name on that dream list. The second name is Bray Wyatt. Not only would it be a big unexpected WWE return for Bray Wyatt, but it'll be pretty poetic since he would be returning for Seth Rollins. These two names have been going at it for such a long time. Their first meeting with each other dates back to the days of the Shield versus the Wyatt family. Then as time went on, they would find themselves going at it one-on-one until their final few meetings in late 2019. Seth Rollins had just defeated Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship and was having a good reign, but out came the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and WWE placed the Universal title right onto the Fiend after a handful of matches on WWE. Of course, there were a few creative mistakes that took place during that story, and that feud, with Bray Wyatt basically forcing Seth Rollins to turn heel, and he's been heel ever since 2019. And Seth got right back on track and has been constantly evolving his heel character ever since then. He went from a faction leader to the Messiah persona to the Joker persona and continues to evolve. Bray also went on to have some success of his own after the Seth Rollins feud, but unfortunately was released. And even in Bray's rare question and answer session from April, he said that he believes that he'll meet with Seth Rollins in the ring again one day to correct some of those little mistakes from their last feud. So that's why when or if we ever see a WWE return from Bray Wyatt, there's only two return opponents for him that makes the most sense. Seth Rollins is one of those opponents because of all that history that we went over, and the other opponent would no doubt be Roman Reigns. Roman returned and just stole that title from Bray Wyatt, and Bray never had a chance to get it back. So that'll be another great return story for Bray Wyatt's return if it ever happens. But Triple H said that he hears Seth Rollins loud and clear, so we'll have to wait and see what his fix is for this situation. Alexa Bliss's 2022 return picked back up in May, but it's been up in the air ever since. No rivals, no stories, no feuds, nothing besides exhibition matches that end up not really going anywhere. There'll be some weeks where it'll seem like commentators are hinting towards a big story coming for Alexa Bliss, but then several more weeks will go by with nothing ever happening. Then several reports claim that big stories are on the way for Alexa Bliss, but same thing, nothing ever happens. The biggest sign of hope Alexa's direction has gotten since May was when she recently said on Raw that she wants to face the winner of Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. That was the first instance since her return where it seemed like maybe something was in the works for Alexa's direction. Alexa Bliss recently spoke with Metro and did confirm that she feels a bit lost and is in a limbo state right now in terms of her character and direction. Alexa had this to say during that interview, quote, "Now, I'm in this limbo of I don't really know where I'm going with my character yet. I kind of evolved so many times in the last 9 years. I feel like I've had more character than any other woman on the roster." End quote. And Alexa's right. That's what makes this current limbo state of her character so frustrating to watch as a viewer. We've seen Alexa go through all these personas, from the early Glitter Fairy days to her first heel turn to the Goddess persona to a babyface, then through her entire Bray Wyatt influence persona. So to see her go from one of the most character-driven superstars to barely not having much of a character of anything to work with in 2022 is pretty tough. And for Lily to go from a focal point main character to nothing more than a pointless entrance accessory was also another unfortunate change. So Alexa has definitely noticed that she's in limbo right now from a direction and character point of view. But hopefully that does change in the near future. She did tease going after the Raw Women's title, so that's another thing we'll have to wait on. Was she just talking about her goals, or is she actually next in line for the Raw Women's Championship? Even if they don't put Alexa in the title picture, that story pitch that they've had going around with Lily being stolen would be the perfect way to dive back into Alexa's character and show some changes. We haven't seen what Alexa Bliss will turn into if Lily is not by her side, so doing that storyline may bring Alexa's character story back into the forefront and give her a little something to work with. But what are your thoughts on today's stories with Triple H responding to Seth Rollins and Alexa Bliss addressing her character direction in WWE? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.